What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to part 2 of your Random Wednesday rant. And now you see I got another handsome gentleman joining me. Better looking than Tommy C. Better abs than Tommy C. Probably better hairline than Tommy C. But they were both wearing hats, so we'll never know. It is my tag team partner, my usual co-host of every single Friday Night SmackDown, the one, the only, the great Jeff Huffman. What's going on, buddy?
Not much, just St. Louis weather being bipolar.
Yeah, it's really warm here in Germany today, too. It's really nice. It's like a spring day.
2 days ago, it was like 75 degrees. Today, it's 35.
Ah, goodness.
I love the cold, so I don't mind. I'm just saying, pick something.
Make up your mind, assholes. That's funny. So, yeah, this is part 2. Did a really good at part 1 with Tommy earlier. That was a pretty good episode. We talked about some stuff I would have liked to have talked with you about, some baseball news and everything. But that's okay. We'll get in. We are going to do a baseball special at some point before the season starts,
Okay.
I'd assume. We've been talking about that for a while, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we'll definitely take care of that. But before we get into the wrestling news, because that's what this show is going to cater to, is just all wrestling. Quick announcement, the Fantasy Baseball League that Jeff and I are co-commissioners of for Dead on Dave Productions is 100% full up. It's filled. It's a go. Everything is ready to go for Saturday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the draft. And what I've decided is, instead of relying on Joe Cronin to host it, because I don't think he's going to be able to, since I can go live now, I'm thinking what I'm going to do is, who's ever there and who's ever able to Skype in, whenever it's their turn to draft, or I'm just going to basically keep subbing you guys in and out as we're drafting, and let people talk and comment as they will. So that could be kind of fun.
How many people do you think you could fit in at one time?
I think I got like 6 in there the other day.
Okay, that's not bad. That's pretty good,
bad,
actually.
Yeah. So, and I don't really like having more than 3, so I figure if I just keep subbing people out, it'll be perfect. Everyone will get a chance to talk, and some people are not even going to want to talk, but everyone will get a chance, and we'll all talk shit on each other, and we'll call each other stupid. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So
I like it.
Yeah, I do too. So that's this Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Dead on Dave Productions, Fantasy Baseball League on Yahoo. So. But, by the way, a special thank you to you, Jeff, for we reached 500 subs yesterday on this channel.
That's not me. That's
no,
you.
it is. It's very much you, man. It's very much as much you as it is me, and I appreciate everything. All your efforts for this channel has not gone unnoticed, man. You have been absolutely a cog, man, one of the most important pieces of this channel, and I love you, buddy, and I really appreciate everything you do.
Thank you. You too. I appreciate that.
You're awesome. Enough with the mushy shit. We'll suck each other's dicks later. Let's talk some wrestling, shall we?
Go for it.
All right, let's start off with this story coming out of Monday Night Raw this week. 10 young men were in the front row at Monday Night Raw in Iowa, and they were dressed up as Ric Flair and IRS and Randy
Pretty cool.
Savage. Yeah, it was really cool. But after like a commercial break or something, they were no longer dressed up. They were wearing new merchandise for some reason.
Probably because WWE was butthurt that they were more entertaining than the first 2.5 hours of the show.
Basically. So everyone was trying to figure out exactly why WWE would do this. Well, finally, we did get a reason as to why, because the guys are speaking out and telling their story exactly what happened. So right into the show, they were approached by security, and who said, "Hey, I've been doing this for 15 years. I hate to do this, but this is just reality. If you're in the front row and you're in the camera angle, you're just too distracting. You're going to take away from the talent on television," which seems like it's reasonable. It may not be cool or anything, but it's reasonable. I don't think it's a terrible thing. They didn't tell them to leave. They said, "Can you take this stuff off and we'll give you free merchandise?" So they gave them all brand new merchandise, which is kind of cool. They didn't have to do that.
They already paid however many $1,000.
They said they paid $1,000. for those
ticket?
tickets. Yeah, they said that for the 10 of them, they paid $1,000 plus the money on their costumes. Look, it's a dick move by WWE, no question. It's a no fun move. Look, I would be encouraging people to be dressing up as wrestling characters.
Why not?
But,
Why not? People do it in every other sport.
Yeah, but I guess because I don't know. I don't really have a good reason of trying to defend them because there's really no defense here. It's a dick move.
Yeah.
But at the very least, they did give them merchandise, which is kind of cool. They said you can, and it's not like they were going to kick them out. They just said if you want to remain dressed, you're just going to have to move to different seats. Which again, it's not beyond reason. If they would have said get the fuck out, that would be one thing. But they didn't. And I think they know that they wouldn't have got away with doing it the other thing, or they probably would have. So they did that, and then one of the guys, last name is Sheridan. I didn't write down his full name because I'm an asshole.
Yeah.
And two other groups, they wrote to WWE and, just saying, hey, we're lifelong fans and we didn't really feel this was necessary. They got a response. They each got the exact same response. I mean, the wording was the exact same. So it was a corporate response.
Well, you got a response.
They did. They got an apology. And not only did they get an apology, they got free tickets to an upcoming show. So, I mean, the WWE is at least acknowledging that it was a dick move and giving free merchandise and free tickets. Does this make up for this kind of no fun league type of thing? And what do you think of the WWE of first what they did and second how they responded?
Well, like you said, dick move to do it. Dick move to do it. They do. People dress up for every other sport, so I don't understand why they can't do it there.
Yeah.
And it's not like they were completely taking. I was joking when they said they were more entertaining than the entire show.
Unfortunately, it wasn't a joke.
But not like they weren't distracting me from the what was going on in the ring.
Yeah.
I saw them at first. I'm like, hey, that's pretty cool, and went back to what I was watching.
Right.
But yeah, it's a dick move. Like, why? Why? And you have here that they gave them 9 free tickets when there's 10 of them.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that. They gave 9 of the group, offering the group of 10 a total of 9 free tickets.
Where are the seats?
Hopefully front row.
I was gonna say if they're not front row.
Well, I mean, it's not like they didn't kick them. See, like I don't think they have to give them front. They got to enjoy the show. I mean, they just didn't get to dress up the way they did.
They did give them free merchandise.
So I mean, like I'm trying to say, it's not like I can't completely condemn the WWE because even though it was a dick move, they did handle it in a fairly good way.
Yeah, they did.
We got to give them at least a little bit of credit there. But look, this is a bad precedent where you're going to alienate fans by this. By doing stuff like this.
I'm just saying that they each paid $1,000.
Yeah,
seat.
Something like that.
I mean,
I think it was $1,000 for the group, but I'm not sure.
Okay,
because that seems more reasonable. I don't think $1,000 ticket for a Monday Night Raw in Iowa is possible.
That's true.
I'm pretty sure you can get WrestleMania front row tickets for $1,000.
Oh, that'd be more than that.
Probably, but I don't know. I have no idea. I'm so old.
Survivor Series front row tickets were going for way.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. I'm out of the loop. That's crazy.
No, they did handle it fairly well. They did.
I agree. So moving on a little bit, speaking of WrestleMania, since we kind of touched there is a major change that looks to be happening behind the scenes at WrestleMania. Reddit user Mets Fans Forever, who reportedly is a former WWE backstage worker, and he has been known to break several big news stories before they happen and big storylines. This guy is fairly credible, is now saying that behind the scenes that they are contemplating a big change for WrestleMania. Not only is Brock Lesnar almost 100% going to be signing a new deal, it's very possible that based off of the lack of reaction that Roman Reigns has gotten, that he's going to actually be going over Roman Reigns and retaining the WWE Championship. Now the idea is that he'd win it and then continue to make limited television appearances. So that wouldn't change. That'd piss me off. But
Right.
they're going to be trying to elevate both the United States and Intercontinental titles by putting them on big stars such as Cena and Daniel Bryan. So let's break this down because there's actually quite a bit to talk about in this little bit of story. Initial reaction to the possible change to the main event.
I like it. I like the fact that I would rather see Brock Lesnar win anyway.
Yeah.
I don't think Reigns is ready. He's being forced down our throats.
Yeah, seriously.
He's not ready. He's not ready. Like let him rise up naturally.
I agree.
Kind of like Daniel Bryan did.
Have him win Money in the Bank. I think he's
do
a
that
perfect
too.
candidate for that. And when he's red hot again, go ahead and let him cash in.
Yeah.
But he might not be the best guy to win Money in the Bank since he just won Royal Rumble, and he might still continue
Very
to get
true,
booed.
very true.
There's got to be another way to get him in the title picture later on down the line that's not going to alienate half your fan base. Now that
Turn him heel. Turn him heel.
Turn him heel. That's what I'm thinking. Turn him heel is the best way to go. I've been calling Brock Lesnar not only re-signing and staying with the WWE, but winning this championship match for a few weeks now. I've been on this bandwagon because it makes sense.
I think he's getting heavily cheered.
Yeah, he's going to be super over at Mania, and I hope he stays. I think it makes more sense for him to stay, and I think the WWE has been telling us he's going to stay with the way Paul Heyman has been doing promos.
And they're mentioning UFC.
This is not like them to mention where someone's going if they were actually going. It's just so unlike WWE and they always seem to tell us exactly what's happening because they're so not creative, especially right now it seems. So They're just having Paul Heyman scream at us, hey, he's staying. And if he's staying, he's beating Roman Reigns. So, and that'll be a huge storyline. But let's talk about the other side of this, the elevating of the United States and Intercontinental Championships by putting them onto bigger stars. Now, I've been calling Daniel Bryan winning the Intercontinental title, but the bigger thing here is I've been calling John Cena to be leaving the WWE for a little while because I've been saying he's hurt.
You think he's hurt because he hasn't been doing matches. He hasn't been doing matches.
Yeah. But this calls that into question because now, if this has been the plan for a while, now all of this makes a lot of sense to why even having him in the feud with Rusev to begin with to put the belt on Cena. I think it's the wrong move to have him beat Rusev at this point, but it would certainly elevate the championship. Cena's not the guy to be holding the United States title. I mean, if you want to elevate it, there's other guys to do that.
I mean, when you have 15 WWE titles...
Yeah, you're right. Right? I mean, do you really want to have Daniel Bryan and John Cena being the Intercontinental United States champions? I don't know about it. Daniel Bryan, I think, can pull it off.
Daniel Bryan's okay because, they were mentioning the fact that that's the only title he hasn't won. Yeah. So he's got that going for him. He's like, okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can handle that.
Yeah, and the matches that he will have for that Intercontinental title. I mean... Let's just start orgasming right now over the potential fucking Dolph Ziggler.
Ziggler, yeah.
You turn Ziggler fucking heel, and we start having a Ziggler versus Bryan feud.
Ziggler's still going to get cheered as a heel. So
Probably. But if there's one guy that he'll get booed against, it would be Bryan.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got that potential matchup. Hell, I'd like to see Daniel Bryan and R-Truth in a freaking in a little bit of a program.
I like R-Truth. I love R-Truth.
Program.
They would use his crazy mentality, right?
Yeah, sure. You have to. Hell, even Bad News Barrett. I like what they're doing with Barrett, but I have a feeling that after WrestleMania, Barrett's going to be elevated to the main title picture, and I think that because he's done everything he can do in the mid card, I don't think there's any point in having him down there anymore.
Done everything more there, yeah.
Yeah, but the biggest thing is his body right now. Do you see the fucking shape he's gotten himself in?
He looks great.
He looks ridiculously good. That dude has got himself so cut up. He has never been in this good a shape.
He looks phenomenal.
Yeah.
He really does.
He does. And that tells me that they may have been telling him to do that to get ready for your main event run. So I think that's a possibility.
Good for him. I'd love to see that.
Yeah. Him and like if turn him full face. He doesn't keep the BNB character. He was getting cheered anyway. Keep it, make it a little funnier, and have him be a face. Have Sheamus come back heel, and boom, you have a main event picture that I want to see.
Beautiful.
You know what I'm saying? It's not rocket science. It's just booking. Fuck.
It's common sense.
Yeah, a little bit. I think it would work. So at the end of the day, what do you think of this entire situation with Lesnar? Do you think he's going to stay? Let's start there first.
Yes.
You do?
Absolutely.
Do you see him going over Roman Reigns?
Now? Yes. Yeah, I do now.
Where do you see Roman Reigns going after this loss?
I think he is going to get upset because people are going to keep telling him that because his big thing is the I can't.
Yeah.
He gets butthurt over the I can't thing. And when he loses to Lesnar, people are going to keep saying, you can't do that. You can't beat him.
Yeah.
And then he's going to flip out and go heel. Hopefully.
I think that's a possibility, and I think I have a way to do it too.
Go for it. Let's hear it.
I think there's two guys who are going to need a feud after WrestleMania. I think one
Gross.
way or another, Seth Rollins is going to be out of this feud with Randy Orton. They could do Stone Cold Steve Austin, Bret Hart in a way, a double turn. Absolutely. A double turn by having Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins in a feud together, which is awesome anyway. But that's a perfect way to double turn because you want Seth Rollins to be heel, and Roman Reigns is clearly going to be a better. Or you want Seth Rollins.
You want Rollins to be a face,
and you want
he's built more like a face.
He is built, and then he can use the Ark of God, which would be incredible.
The Ark of God.
Use the Ark of God. It'd be awesome. And then Roman Reigns gets to be a heel, which I think is much more suited to his personality.
He doesn't have to say a whole lot.
Oh, something bad happened though on Raw though to me.
For it.
You know that promo that he did when he talked to Brock Lesnar and he stared into the camera?
Yes.
I got lost in his eyes, Jeff.
You got lost in his eyes?
I got lost in his eyes for like a full minute. It was creepy.
Is he too beautiful to be heel?
Those eyes, man. They're the clearest blue I've ever seen. I've seen oceans and waters that would captivate me less than those eyes. I was swimming in them, Jeff. I was swimming in Roman Reigns' eyes.
You think he's too beautiful to be heel?
I don't know. I think he's the right level of beautiful that heel would work for him, but it would be hard because then I would just be picturing him having angry sex with me instead of loving tender sex that I'm picturing now. So I don't know what to do with that. I'm really worried about myself, Jeff.
Would you be saying this right now if your wife was home?
No, she wouldn't care because she would suck him off in front of me. She loves that man more than I do. No, okay. I'm afraid of my wife. Glad she's gone. She's mean. She's very mean. She's very, very mean. You heard the way she was talking.
She hurt you? Did she hit you?
Shut up, Jeff. You can't say this is recorded. No. My wife is perfect. She's a saint. She's never hit me before ever, officer. I mean, Jeff. Does it sound rehearsed? Doesn't sound rehearsed. Okay.
No.
All right. So, yeah, I think this is a pretty cool story. I definitely want to see Roman Reigns lose this match. So that's the present. Let's talk about the future, shall we?
Okay.
Kevin Owens, maybe the brightest star in all of NXT, and definitely already one of the most popular figures in all of WWE. He's got a fan base from before when he was Kevin Steen. He's selling merchandises like a madman, and he's having a hell of a title run over at NXT right now. Well, he tore up his knee. He just had knee surgery. He had a partial meniscectomy. I believe I pronounced that correctly. For a knee injury late last week. But he's already working through it, and he really shouldn't miss any serious time because of it. They're projecting 4 to 6 weeks. What does this mean for Kevin Owens, and what do you think that's going to mean for the NXT title, if anything?
If anything, when's he set to defend the title again?
Well, see, the cool thing is NXT tapes, so they've got like 4 more weeks of taping already done.
Okay,
So,
I guess you can kind of do a mini Lesnar approach here to the title.
Yeah.
Just keep him out of the ring. Just have him talk.
Yeah, but 4 to 6 weeks isn't a very long time, so I'm thinking he might actually only be out a few shows. The one detriment is he's not going to be able to perform at the NXT WrestleMania show because they're having their own little event, which is already sold out. And by the way, it sold out like 4,400 seat arena. NXT did in minutes, and apparently that is getting the attention of Vince McMahon of just how popular NXT is right now. This could be a good or a bad thing. What I'm hoping is that he's going to look at the success that NXT is having and know the man who's in charge of it and maybe give him more power. And by that man, I mean Triple H. What do you think about that?
Yeah, no, absolutely. What Triple H has done with NXT, just from the little bits that I've seen, is just absolutely unreal. How it just completely blows everything else that's going on out of the water.
Yeah, I agree. But Kevin Owens missing this time, not being able to perform at the WrestleMania show, it kind of sucks. But he'll still be at Access. I'm sure he'll still sign autographs. He'll pose, do camera pictures and all that stuff, selfies.
Now, what kind of stuff do you have going on at the NXT WrestleMania?
As far as I know right now, the only thing that I've seen is that it's just a show, like a house show.
Okay.
And I'm sure it'll be recorded and probably be put on the WrestleMania disc. But I'm sure they would have liked to have done a new, like maybe Zayn and Kevin Owens for that event. I'm sure they would have loved to have done that because I know the Finn Balor and Kevin Owens title match has already been recorded.
Okay.
Because I read the results. So I know it's already been recorded. So I don't know what they're going to do. I'm not sure how much more Alex Riley is going to be involved with Kevin Owens, if at all, because that match has also already been recorded. So
you said he looks great.
Oh, God, he looks incredible. Dude got himself in shape. He got himself in Huffman shape. That's impressive.
Yeah. Good for him.
For him, yeah, absolutely. It's not quite Huffman standards, but it's getting there.
It's getting there. Okay.
Getting there.
All right. So he hasn't passed me yet. We're good.
Yeah, that's true. So if the biggest thing though, if Kevin Owens if he can keep from getting hurt seriously, this guy's going to be a star. Plain and simple. So quick recovery, Kevin Owens. Here's a little bit of a spoiler, but on Thursday there has been a match announced. Oh, I'm sorry, a match was a little bit. Hello, on Thursday for SmackDown, there is going to be a gauntlet match. I announced that earlier, and we'll have all the competitors in the Intercontinental Title ladder match. But another spoiler was also announced. They announced another Hall of Fame inductee, which surprised some people because there was word that the one on Raw, which turned out to be Larry Zbyszko, was going to be the final inductee. That's not the case. And it looks like this isn't even going to be the final inductee. The man who was inducted is Tatsumi Fujinama. And I said it so perfect. Fujinama. I said it perfectly earlier. Tatsumi Fujinama, who's a legendary Japanese wrestler. He's very well known in Japan. And to a lot of 90s WWE fans, because he did show up in some Royal Rumbles and stuff like that. The guy is well known. Legendary, absolutely belongs in the Hall of Fame, so congratulations. Now, the bigger story is Zbyszko not being the last one in, and we know there's supposed to be one more name, and more than likely it will be announced on Monday Night Raw, and that name is, of course,
Kevin Nash.
Big Daddy Cool, Diesel, Kevin Nash. And the story goes that he will be inducted by the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, and they will be, get this, Jeff, closing the show, the Hall of Fame show. They will be the final, the Hall
Really?
of Fame. Yes. Because, as I've said many times, nobody wants to hear Lanny Poffo talk. But they do want to hear Shawn Michaels and friggin'
Do you think that'll open the show, the Savage?
I think there's a good possibility of it. But I want to see what Hogan has to say.
Everybody's looking forward to that.
What is he going to say? Is he going to make any reference to their personal history? I mean, obviously the professional stuff is the reason why he's inducting him. But it'd be great if Stephanie McMahon did it. I remember the time that he put me against the wall. He's the best lay I ever had. And the best part about it? It was never face to face. Yeah, I'm never gonna have a McMahon on my show.
Nope,
Never.
that just ended right there.
Yeah, that's okay. It's like when Cronin said China had a dick, and then he was surprised that she wouldn't come on his show. You can't say she has a dick and then try to get her on the show. What's the matter with you? Fuck. See, at least with my Roman Reigns comments, I figured there's a 50-50 chance he's at least, flattered. But you never know.
Or creeped out.
Well, yeah, but to be fair, I think most people are creeped out by me anyway. So
it's okay.
What's the big
People learn
deal,
to get
Roman?
past it. People learn to get past it.
Roman doesn't want to hear that another man would let him wear him like a fucking cheap tie. I mean, fuck. What's the problem with that? I'd let him slide in me like pigs in a blanket. What's the big deal? What's wrong with saying that?
There's nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. But overall, what do you think about the legendary Japanese wrestler, of course, going in? But I think the bigger story, this is going to piss off the Japanese people. I don't give a fuck, though. Kevin Nash, I think that's the bigger story of him probably going in and being announced on Monday. Do you think Kevin Nash is deserving, or are you one of those Kevin Nash haters?
Well, you know better than I do because, like I said, I started watching back in 2008. And I've been trying to, catch up as much as I can. But, I wasn't there watching it, as this stuff was going on back, when he jumped ship to WCW and what he was doing as Diesel back then.
Yeah.
I don't really know, the full feeling of it. So I was going to ask you, what do you think, yes or no?
Absolutely, yes. There's not even a question.
Okay, because I was going to say, just from what I've seen, I said, yeah.
Yes, there's no question. He's one of the most influential men in the history of wrestling. Is he a chode? Absolutely. Was he part of the reason why WCW died a horrible death? Yes. Mm-hmm. But
he wasn't alone in that, though.
No, he was not alone in that. He was great. And by the way, your excuse for not knowing this shit is not valid because I don't know if you noticed, but on Sunday, I had a 12-year-old by the name of AJ Tucker come in and hold his fucking own with me on past wrestling knowledge. With me, and I'm a freak. This kid, he's 12.
Okay, he's not in college, and he doesn't work.
He's 12. He barely even fucking know. He can still count how many pubes he has, probably. You got to step it up. You got to step it up.
He doesn't have to do 45 different things in a day.
Yeah, he does. Well, most of them are pulling girls' hairs and stuff. But no, this kid seems to have it together, man. He's a stud, dude. I like AJ Tucker. Tony Barrasso? Who's that? Tony. Give me AJ Tucker.
We never know who Tony is because his voice changes every time we hear him.
That's true. He's a man now. I gotta watch it because Tony might show up and punch me in the face, steal my woman. Fuck.
Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns. That's right. My woman, Roman Reigns. No one will ever take him from me. I'll fight you on the beaches. So we got all that. We got one final story to get to, and this one's kind of an interesting one. Devon Dudley did this fantastic interview. I wish I could tell you where, but I'm a terrible journalist and I didn't write it down.
It's okay. It keeps it fun.
Yeah,
I can use my imagination.
Google it, fuckers. I'm going to tell you the same thing I tell my daughter. Google it. Google it. It'll help. I would tell her to get an encyclopedia, but they don't exist anymore, apparently. I don't know. I'm old. Jeff's like, what's an encyclopedia? Google
No, we had those when I was in school. Elementary school.
Good. That's good. So Devon Dudley did this fantastic podcast. He talks about so many things, but one of the biggest things that he talks about during this interview was respect in the locker room. He says it's non-existent. And this is a Dudley we're talking about, one half of the most decorated and popular tag teams in the history of wrestling. If he's not getting respect in the locker room, then guess what, kids? Nobody is. So you being a millennial and kind of being the problem that he's talking about with these kids having no respect these days.
No. It's the kids that are a few years younger than us.
Okay, I apologize for that, but you know what I mean. You're in that demographic. And by the way, I say that, but Jeff Huffman is not a fucking millennial. He may be in that category, but he is not a millennial. He doesn't act like one. This this kid's got it together more than most of you ever fucking will. So don't take anything I'm saying about Jeff personally because he's got it together. But he does represent, or he is in the mix of these people that are the problem. So what do you think of your generation and this kind of bad rep that they have for not respecting anybody?
Well, I can tell you from working with children at a daycare center, kids are completely different now.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous how much different than they are now.
Even
So much complaining every time something doesn't go their way.
Yeah.
They come crying.
Do you find it surprising that that's happening with people who are getting into the wrestling industry now? That they're going to wrestling school, yet he also said one of the problems is there are no-name guys who didn't make it in the industry who are creating wrestling schools and telling people how to get into the wrestling industry. So do you find it surprising that these guys are going into locker rooms with a sense of entitlement and not respecting guys who came before them? And what do you think of that?
That's just ridiculous. You haven't. Why are you doing that if you haven't earned anything?
Yeah, what have you done?
What have you done?
What have you done?
What makes you think you've earned the right to do that?
Yeah. And it's not just in wrestling. It's in any sport.
It's everywhere.
It's any locker room mentality. When you go into a locker room of a sports team or any training, dojo, whatever, you need to respect the heritage and the lineage of those who came before you. Learn from them. They got a lot to teach you. I don't get it. I don't understand this. This boggles my mind.
People are soft. People are soft.
Yeah, they don't want to get yelled at. You don't want to get yelled at. You don't want to get told what to do. And it's crazy. And do you think this is part of the problem with some of the younger talent that's coming up through the ranks in professional wrestling?
Yeah, I do. No, nobody likes to be told what to do. When they don't get their way, they're going to cry about it.
So what's the fix? Just a major boot in the ass? Or, do we have to acquiesce more to these kids? What's the fix here?
It's going to take a group of people to just, tell them to, screw off. You're going to have to earn it.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, there's the door.
There's the door. Don't let it hit you. So the good Lord split you. I agree with that shit. But it's rough. It's rough. It's a very confusing thing. And I don't know. I feel bad because Devon's a friggin' legend, It
boils down to people being soft. That's what it is.
Yeah. I think it's hard to disagree with that. So, yeah, that's all the stories I've got. You got anything you want to talk about? You got anything you want to plug? Anything you want to get out there?
Yeah, it's something for the New York Mets. They lost Zach Wheeler. That's a big
right.
shame for them. Because it looks like people were, and even I thought they could maybe potentially contend, at least for a wild card.
Not no more.
I still think they're going to be a pretty decent team. I do, because their rotation is still pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad. Zach Wheeler is going to probably be replaced by Dylan G unless they get another starter, which I'm hearing there's talks between the Cubs and the Mets right now for like a guy like Travis Wood. I don't know if that's any validity to that, but I don't know.
Cubs don't have much starting pitching as it is, though.
Well, I think there's more there than people are realizing. You got to remember, Travis Wood's just a year removed from being a friggin' all-star. He had a bad season last year, but
a very good hitting pitcher.
Great hitting pitcher, not good. He's a great hitting pitcher.
Cubs have had some really good hitting pitchers
really
with
have.
Travis Wood and Carlos Zambrano when he wasn't destroying Gatorade machines.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I'm kind of glad you brought up the Zach Wheeler thing, because one of the things I talked about in part one, and I'd love to get your opinion on it, is this epidemic, this seemingly epidemic with Tommy John surgeries now.
This is because you have like 13-year-old kids pitching year round.
Yes. I said the exact same thing.
Throwing a ball is not a normal motion.
No.
It's not a normal motion. It's okay to space it out every now and again. It's okay to space it out, but you need to take time off.
Yeah.
Let the stuff heal up.
Yeah, I agree.
I was watching. I was gonna. Sorry.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say I was watching a show on MLB Network. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Intentional Talk. Have
Uh-huh.
you seen that show?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Okay, great show. I love that show. But anyway, Chris Rose, one of the hosts, he lives out in LA, and he was talking about a kid coming out of high school who was drafted by he was a top pick by the Nationals, I believe.
The Nationals.
Yeah, and he was throwing gas in high school, throwing 95 to
Yeah.
99 in high school. And as soon as he finishes high school, he gets Tommy John.
Yeah.
He had Tommy John before he threw a pitch for the Nationals organization.
I think that's going to start happening more frequently, just as a precautionary measure.
Everybody now is throwing. Everybody's bigger and throwing harder,
Yep.
and they're doing it year round. It's not normal to do that.
No, it's not. More people in 2014 had Tommy John surgery in Major League Baseball than they did in the entire decade of the 1990s. I said that earlier. And right now it's on pace to even be more than that this year. And bigger names are going down. And you're 100% right. It's because kids are throwing year round. And here's even more to kind of
It starts there. That's where it starts.
It's also because there's this specialized positions now. When a kid is 8 or 9 years old and gets identified to have some type of a pitching motion arm, that's all he's going to do for the rest of his life. He's going to pitch. They're not going to have him in other positions. They don't care about him learning other positions. He's going to pitch. And most of the time, he's not going to learn proper mechanics at that young age. So by the time he gets to 18, 19 years old and gets scouted and get brought into some major league system, guess what? He's already damaged goods.
Now you can have him if you see that this kid's got something at pitcher at that age. Okay, that's fine. I mean, that can be the main focus, but still move him around the diamond.
Sure.
And move him around the diamond, I'd say till maybe about high school or so.
Yeah.
And then maybe slowly transitioning to be an actual pitcher. That'll be your main focus.
I think less and less people are giving a shit about moving people around and giving them non-specialized abilities in baseball because
they're too concerned about winning.
That, and I think a lot of people are seeing the trend and seeing what's going to happen in the pro game here really soon, that the DH is coming to the National League. Probably, if they're talking about it again, man, I see it happening in the next 5 years.
As much as I love David Ortiz and them, I love watching them play.
Yeah.
Pitcher is a position, and the pitcher needs to hit.
I agree. What are you going to have, a designated fielder?
I love watching pitchers hit.
So do I.
I love watching pitchers hit.
So do I.
And it adds a whole new strategy to the game.
But, owners and television companies, they want more runs. And the reality is...
Too bad.
All teams
Too bad.
having a DH...
Find another sport.
It's going to increase... all teams having a DH is going to... For one, it's going to increase revenue. It's going to create more big-time payroll jobs for National League teams. One more big hitter in the lineup for managers to tinker with. There's so many positives for it, and believe me, I am not in favor of this. I think it's disgusting. I hate it. It's going to ruin the fucking game. However, we do need a unified rule set because I'm tired of the National League and American League playing under different rules. It drives me insane.
I think it's going to ruin the game, but
it's one step in the way of ruining the fucking game because you're still going to have tightwad owners that are not going to want to pay out that, and that's part of the opposition to this is the smaller market teams do not want to take on another large payroll position. And let's face it, a DH, you're talking 10 to 12 million a year minimum for a good one. Minimum. So, it is what it is. So we got a little bit of baseball talk squeezed in here. Fuck you guys. So go ahead and tell the kids where they can find you, Mr. Huffman.
Yeah, if you want to find me on YouTube, go search Grand Slam 87. I post a bunch of video game garbage, and occasionally I'll yell at the game. So if you like watching people cry at video games, go on and check that out. And I'll just talk about whatever's on my mind. And that's pretty much it.
Sweet.
Essentially what it is.
Sweet. And if you want to get in shape and look good and studly like this man, go ahead and hit him up because he loves giving nutrition tips.
Yep, hit me up on Twitter, which is also my Twitter handle is @GrandSlam87.
His dog is named Grand Slam 87. It's fucking crazy. He names Chipmunks Grand Slam 87. You have a dog and his name is Grand Slam 87. Don't contradict.
Okay, I have a dog.
Jesus. But, hey, look, man, I appreciate you coming on the show today. A lot of fun.
Thank you.
You're awesome as always. And enjoy your spring break, my friend, which seems so weird to say in March, but meh. But
I go to community college. It's not much.
Right. But look, thanks everybody for supporting the channel and watching the episode. Make sure you like, subscribe, and share because we are already well on the way to 1,000 subs. Thank you guys for getting us to 500. We greatly appreciate it. Vader appreciates it. Christopher Daniels appreciates it. And you never know who else might appreciate it as well. So make your buddy smile.
Not
Share
China.
a Dead on Dave video sometime today. What's that, Jeff?
Not China.
Not China. Because according to Joe Cronin, she has a dick. I don't know. But that's all I've got. Thanks for joining me once again right here on Dead on Dave Productions. We will see you next time. Peace.